My wife was kind enough to help me run an experiment with this IPL hair removal. A month and a half ago, she shaved both of her legs, and then on only one leg, she used this to see what the results would be. For the first week, she used it a few times, and then she stopped using it completely for a month. And you can see on her leg where she didn't use this at all, her hair came back just like normal. She's got some pretty long, thick hairs on there, but on her leg where she used this, even after a month, she really didn't have any long or thick hairs. Really impressive how well this works. Now, this was sent to me so I could test this and make this video. I've always had these questions with IPL hair removal. I've always wondered what this would actually be like. So in this video, I'm going to answer all of these questions. So the first question, how well does this actually work? I just showed you, at least with my wife's legs, it worked really well. Now, she's Asian. She doesn't have a whole lot of hair on her legs to begin with, but she noticed the difference right away with this, with how the hair came back, even just using this a few times. Now, obviously, you're supposed to continually use it for quite some time to see the best results, but even just using it about 3 or 4 times, she saw some pretty impressive results. I did a test exactly 2 months ago on my wrist where I used this on a part of my wrist to see what would happen, and 2 months later, you can kind of see the difference between where I didn't use it and where I did use it. For me, it's really noticeable when my hair gets wet and you can kind of see the hair matted down. And I only used it one time, and you can see the results from just using it that one time. The second big question I always had with this is, how much does this actually hurt? So come to find out, it really depends. It depends on your hair. It depends on your skin tone. It depends on what level you use this at. But the simple answer is, if you use this how you're supposed to use it, it really doesn't hurt all that much. Now, the way I would personally describe it is, if you can imagine kind of a metal plate that's really hot, and if you just kind of touch it on your skin really quick, you'll feel that it's there, but it's so quick that it doesn't really hurt at all, especially on the lower power settings, which you will use after you've used this a time or two. It really doesn't hurt at all. Now, the way my wife describes it is, if you can imagine a pin or a needle just kind of barely poking your skin, that's what it feels like for her. It's more of kind of a central pain where her hairs are, and maybe that's because her hairs are more spread out than mine. I got pretty hairy arms, but she would say when you turn the intensity up, it's like a pin is poking you just a little bit more. So yes, you can feel it. There is some pain there, and especially if you have some more stubborn hairs, you are going to notice it. But after you've done it once and you use it on a lower power, you're really not going to hardly notice anything at all. I was very surprised with how little this actually hurt. Now, IPL is supposed to be used on lighter skin with darker hair, and there is some variance. If you have slightly dark or tan skin, it can still work. And even if your hair is not black, as long as it is a little dark, it will still work. But I did have a lot of questions on how this is different with different shades of hair and skin. Now, as far as my skin goes, I can't really comment on that because I'm pretty pale. I don't really tan a lot, but as far as hair goes, you can see I do have some hair that is turning white, especially kind of on the back of my neck. So I did actually try this out with some of my darker hair and with some of my more white hair, and the only thing I will say is it didn't seem to hurt more or less if my hair was dark or if it was white, but I think with my white hair it really just didn't do anything. The way this works is it kind of searches for dark spots, so if you have white hair, it's not really going to find anything. So I didn't notice any more pain with my hairs that were white. It just didn't work. Another question I had is, why do you have to shave before you use this? All the instructions say to shave, and so I actually tried this on my skin on a part where I didn't shave, and right away I noticed it hurt a little bit more, and also I could kind of smell the singed hair. The reason you want to shave is because you want to target the roots. You don't want to target the other hair. So if you don't shave, it's probably going to stink a little bit, and it's not going to be as effective. And as far as it hurting a little bit more when I tried it out, I don't know if that's actually consistent. I didn't do it a whole lot. There's really absolutely no reason to use this on hair that you didn't shave first. Another question I had with this is, can you use it on any parts of the body. So I've tested it on my face, different areas on my arm, on my back, and my neck. And as far as I can tell, doesn't really make a difference where on your body you use it. It really only makes a difference the skin tone and the hair color. And the last question I had with IPL is what makes one device better or different from another? Now, I've actually used a few different devices, and I will say I'm really impressed with this Ulike. Now, this is kind of marketed towards men, but as my wife demonstrated, it works for anyone. One cool, literally, and unique thing about this is this actually gets really cold. Now, I tested it out and I measured the temperature on this, and it got well below freezing. And you can even see in this clip, I got some ice to form on the end of this. That is really nice. When you put it on your skin, it kind of cools your skin down before it goes off. That really helps a lot. That is something I noticed going between this device and another device I used. So if you're worried at all about pain or discomfort, then that's something you want to look for. It's really nice having that cool off. With this device, you do have different intensities, and I've seen that on just about any device that's out there. You can do kind of a lower or a higher power, and you do notice the difference with the pain level and how effective that works. This is no difference. This has kind of a normal mode, I think a high mode, and a fast mode. On the fast mode, when you press the button, it just triggers the light a few more times. But another unique thing about this device, which is really cool, is it actually has a skin tone sensor. So depending on your skin tone, it will adjust for how much power it needs to make sure that it is as effective as possible. So really cool feature there. Another cool feature that this has that I have also seen on other similar devices is it's called a glide mode on this device, where if you turn that mode on and you press it up against the skin, it will just keep going off as long as you have it on your skin. So if you want to do this as fast as possible, you'll put it on the glide mode and you just put it on your skin, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. Hopefully that answered some questions that you may have had. This is not as scary as I thought it might be, and it works really quite well.